Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Brains at Work, designing work for every brain. I am Carla, I'm your host. I work with people and organizations to change the way we work one neuron at a time. And today we are going to discuss about something you probably have understood by listening to the previous episodes. And is that this podcast talks about how different brains work, survive, and better thrive in the workplace. And today, I think it's important to focus for a second and define what do we mean by different type of brains.
We think that we are all the same, or we base our intuition on what we can see, but there is much more happening inside our head that we cannot really see from the outside.
There are some behaviors that are difficult to explain sometimes, some difficulties that we cannot really relate to very well, and this creates a number of communicative mistakes that we have already explored in the previous episode. So
you can go back and have a look in case you missed anything.
What happens is that those different type of behaviors, those different type of thinking about problems and relating to the sense of urgency, the sense of leadership, or even authority within a company are very much related to some other type of brains. We're not all the same. It's not because we cannot see that we have to assume that everything is the same inside our head. It is not the case. So this concept of neurodiversity that now seems to be very trendy, is everywhere, all over the social media, all over the news, etc., 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 and is not only for the good, I have to say, but this is what it is. Well, the concept of neurodiversity itself was introduced by Judy Singer, an Australian researcher who graduated in the 90s and wrote her thesis about the concept of biodiversity that is easily extractable and transferable to the humankind. In the same way, every animal and plant is part of a biodiverse environment. The humankind, being part of this world, is submitted to the same rule. So there must be a form of neurodiversity in this ecosystem, which is indeed represented by different brains that think in different ways. To make it very simple, we can call them ADHD, we can call them autism, dyslexia, Tourette, high potential, gifted. All of those terms refer back to the same thing, that these different type of brains are natural variation of the most typical brain that we can find widely spread across the population.
What do we mean by that?
Judy Singer was a sociologist. So this concept was taken from sociology and then applied in more colloquial, everyday, larger public way. The medical term that we can use to define the same concept is neurodevelopmental disorders.
Sounds bad.
Is not bad. Is that in the process of brain development, which takes, by the way, only 18 to 25 years of your life, even before you were born, in the belly of your mom, this little mix of cells is already creating a nervous system. And this you will carry on for the rest of your life. And you can imagine how many millions of processes happen inside those cells and how many mistakes can possibly happen, or things that take a different trajectory. Instead of going right, imagine you go left, and then what happens? You have to take a longer turn to come back to the same point. That's exactly what happens in the biological evolution of brains. You can imagine this as building up something with the elements you have on your desk. Have a look at your desk or wherever you are in your car. Look at what you have. Build up something with those 4 elements you already have available. A pen, piece of paper, post-it, whatever. Now, take it down. Build another thing with the same 4 elements on another side of your car, and you're going to have a different brain. That's exactly what happens. The same elements, just shaped in different configurations. What does this creates in return is different ways of thinking, different ways of processing informations, emotions, sensations, different kind of sensitivity to the environment, and different ways of solving an issue.
You think there is one protocol? You're wrong. There are many ways of solving the same issue, and they are all equally right.
That's exactly the point that Judy, the sociologist from Australia, was trying to make. There is not a right way and a wrong way of behaving, unless you are harming somebody, and that's for sure. But otherwise, there is no difference. There is not a right way for which you have to be praised and a bad way for which you have to be punished, especially within a company where the purpose of working together should be reaching the same objective. It doesn't matter so much in which way we reach it. The objective is there. The most important thing is working together, finding a way that makes us feeling we have purpose and that is keeping us on track with what we are trying to achieve. In this mix, there are individuals who work best when there is silence, others that works best when there is noise. Somebody may struggle with hierarchy, but is a very good team builder. It doesn't matter. We are all perfectly right the way we are. Whichever brain you have the right to do what you are trying to do, and you have the right to be whoever you want to be. I will see you next time.